Is that out?
It's still kind of. All right, today I'm here with Cali. We're gonna do playful class. Let's just have some fun. It's gonna be a little bit playful, a little bit challenging. Do what you can. Have your yoga blocks handy if you have yoga blocks. If you do not, try to find something that you can use instead of. And you can always just not use them whenever we call for them. Let's get started.
You did tell me to lay down, like that was just not in my head.
So today we're gonna start down on our backs. You can be in full shavasana with your legs down flat, or you can bring your feet to the ground. Like Kaylee was just doing. Bring your feet to the ground, knees up, and you can let your knees just knock in towards each other. Play with how close your feet are towards your hips. Sometimes when they're closer, it can be less comfortable. Further away might be more comfortable. Whatever is comfortable for you. This is supposed to be a restorative pose. Pose that you can be very comfortable in. And then you're gonna lay down nice and still and arrive in the room. Right, Kaylee?
Oh,
Let go. All right, so we're gonna land in the room. And take a moment to give yourself permission to just be here on your mat or whatever space you have at home designated. And just land there, starting to be present with yourself. Letting go of some external tension. Start to find your breath. I'm not altering it in any way yet, just find your breath. Starting to notice if you're breathing up high in your chest, you're bringing your breath all the way down to your stomach. Start to notice the pace of your breath. Is it rapid or you're starting to slow it down? And then we're going to explore a breath practice, adding gentle pauses in. So start to just bring your awareness to your breath, making it a little slower, a little more full, and even really softening just below the rib cage and allowing the breath to fully arrive in the torso. And then explore placing a gentle pause at the top and bottom of the exhale. So if it helps you to stay focused, you can say to yourself, I am breathing in, gentle pause. I'm very slowly breathing out, gentle pause. So just, I am breathing in, gentle pause. I'm very slowly breathing out, gentle pause. Just exploring very gentle pauses and exploring your breath with intention rather than muscular force. Just really slowing your breath down, adding very gentle pauses, and seeing how that changes how you're feeling. And let that go and land in the very center of your mind. So if you could gently fall backwards from your eyesight and land at the top of your spinal cord, right in the center of your brain. And just allow space for whatever is present here without judgment. Just to give yourself a little check-in. I'm going to read from SWAMI Parananda Saraswati. I'm sure I mispronounced that. Be friendly towards your body. Do not fight your body. Do not carry the world on your shoulders like Atlas. Drop that heavy load of unnecessary baggage, and you will feel better. Do not kill the instinct of the body for glory of the pose. Do not look at your body like a stranger, but adopt a friendly approach towards it. Watch it, listen to it, observe its needs, its requests, and even have fun. Play with it, as children do. Sometimes it becomes very alert and swift. To be sensitive is to be alive. So let's have a little playful fun today. So we're going to start to work on our core. So bring your knees in first. Just give yourself a little hug. And you can rock this side to side on your lower back if that feels good. And then take your feet up towards the ceiling and wiggle your feet. Take some ankle circles. Do what feels good. We're just getting our feet above our heart. You can allow your shoulders to really drop towards the ground. You can take some head left and right, loosening through the neck. Wiggle the toes, spread the toes wide. Pull the feet down, start to feel the back of the legs. Point the feet up. Just working through the feet, starting to feel the legs fire up. And you might need to keep a bend in your legs. And then we're going to do a practice for warming up the lower core. So keeping our stomach pulled tight, tight, tight towards our spine. We're going to inhale as we lower the right leg down towards the ground and exhale as we bring it back up. Inhale as we lower the left and exhale as we bring it back up. So starting to follow your own breath pace, being mindful that we're keeping this in our stomach. We want to warm up the stomach. So if you feel your lower back starting to engage, don't lower the foot so low to the ground. Keep this in the lower core. And you're supposed to be generating some heat, so slowing it down and grabbing your muscles tight, making them do some work here, not just throwing your leg in space. Then bring your knees in, give yourself a little hug. Reset, maybe rock it side to side. We're going to take another exercise with the legs. Option to use a block here if you want. Place a block between your shins. Give the block a little squeeze. My shins are short, I need to take it this way. So give the block a little squeeze, engaging the legs. Now the legs are strong. Allowing the arms and shoulders to come to the ground. Squeeze that lower core and slowly as you can, lower the feet towards the ground. Stop at that point where you feel challenged. Squeezing the block, squeeze, 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 hold. Breathing as you challenge your core, squeeze the block. Slowly bring the feet back up towards the ceiling. Take your hands up towards the ceiling, arms above the shoulders. And then we're going to slowly lower the arms up over our head without letting them come to the ground. So now our arms are up and active, squeezing the core. Slowly lower the feet down towards the ground again. Breathe and hold. And then bring that back up. You're gonna take the block in your hands, keep your feet up. Now hold the block, squeeze the block in your hands. Start to fire up the chest and arms. Slowly lower the block over your head. Feel engaged in the arms and the chest, and then slowly lower your feet until you are challenged. Find that point where you're using your whole core, but you're not straining. Breathe. And then bend the knees, lower the block, let go of the block. Give yourself a little hug to reset.
Throw the wall.
You want the block handy, you're about to use it again.
I don't know where I just put it. Thanks.
Bring the feet to the ground, somewhere behind the hips, just where your feet and knees are comfortable. We're going to move into rolling bridges here. So getting comfortable, tucking your shoulders in a little bit underneath you. We're going to press into our feet. Inhale as we lift the hips, exhale as we lower the hips. So inhale, lift, exhale, lower. Starting to get as many muscles active as possible. So back of the legs, glutes, stomach active, pulling the hips up. Lower the hips. Take a little shimmy side to side of the knees and hips slowly to reset. You're going to take your block. Can I reach mine? You're going to take your block. You're going to place it just underneath the knees and give it a squeeze. So the same movement we just did, this time squeezing the block. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, lower. Squeeze the glutes a little more. Squeeze the stomach a little more. And lower the hips. Release the block. Change the block to wide and then place it between the knees. You're going to need to change your feet position. Squeeze the block and then same exercise, a little bit different. Inhale, lift up, squeezing. Exhale, lower. Release the block. Lower the hips and release the block. This time, option to take any one of those exercises we just did, or we're going to change it a little bit, make it more challenging on the backs of the legs. So you're going to take the heels pretty far away from you. You can still keep the knees bent. You're going to push the heels into the ground and lift the feet. So the feet are lifted, we're pushing into the heels, and we're going to do that same thing. Pressing into the heels, inhale, lift up, exhale, lower. Notice that it's harder to do it with your feet further away from your glutes. And then inhale, lift up and hold, breathing to hold. Imagine now you are squeezing the block. Squeeze, 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 lift and hold. And then take little pulses up here, tiny pulses, lifting the hips up, challenging the backs of our legs. Squeeze the glutes a little more. And then lower the hips nice and slow. And take a little shimmy of the hips and the knees, letting go. Bring the feet a little closer to the glutes. Take the right ankle and place it just underneath the left knee. So now we have a figure four with the leg. We're gonna press into the ball of the left foot and pull the toes up. Activate the left leg, squeeze the hips, lift the hips up. And then activate this right leg, pull the right knee down towards the ground. So all of both legs are active. Squeeze the stomach to keep the hips nice and stable. Lower the hips. Slide the right knee over the left. Bring the knees in towards the chest. I'll give a little, see if you can grab just underneath the knees. You want to feel like you're pulling opposite foot to opposite shoulder. You should feel the outside of the right hip, the inside of the right hip, sorry, piriformis muscle. And slowly unravel the feet. Bring that right foot back to the ground. Take a little adjust. And then left ankle just underneath right knee. Press the left knee away from you. Lift the lift the toes on the right leg. Get it nice and strong and active. Press into the ground and then lift up the hips. Squeeze both legs. Pull the left knee towards the ground. Breathe and hold. And lower the hips. Slide left knee over right. And bring the knees in towards chest. Draw opposite foot to opposite shoulder. And then unravel the legs. Bring the knees in towards the chest, happy baby. So feet come towards the ceiling. You can hold on to your shins or reach for outer edges of the feet. And just like a happy baby, you can rock this and play with it.
My feet are frozen.
My
feet are frozen.
My feet are cold too. It's a little colder in this studio without all our people and props in here. It's a little echoey. We normally have a lot of props in here, and it's so echoey right now.
It's kind of eerily quiet.
Yeah, and the rock climbers are not here, so it's super quiet.
It's like apocalypse quiet in here. I'm kind of expecting things to jump out at any moment.
All right, hold on to the right leg. Slowly lower the left leg towards the ground. Let the heel come to the ground. I like to place my left hand on that left hip just to feel grounding. And just play with this right leg, right hip. You can start to straighten up this right leg, allowing a little opening, a little play. Move the foot. And bring that right foot in. Switch legs. Left foot comes up, right leg goes down. You can play with opening up this left leg. And bring it back. And I'm going to bring it over to the side. Come on up to a seated position. And get nice and tall in your seat. So thinking about our breath, trying to return to our breath. Getting a little taller in the torso, a little longer in the spine. We're going to take some circles with the torso here. So thinking about moving the sternum in a big circle and squeezing in right around the solar plexus area. Taking a giant, slow circle, really trying to feel every point of the circle. And then reverse your circle. And come back to center. Inhale the arms up nice and tall. Exhale to lower the right arm. Press into the ground. Send that left rib cage more to the left. So really opening up that left rib cage. And bend this arm if the shoulder is tight. And let's take some circles, giant slow circles with this left arm. Playful. Make your arms soft and open like a ballerina. And then slowly inhaling as we come all the way up and over to the other side. Lowering the left hand, grounding it down. Sending the right rib cage really towards the right, opening it up. Breathe into the right rib cage.
I heard that.
I did say I heard noise. It's kind of creepy when you hear noise now.
Yeah, I know, it's either rock climbers or like apocalypse zombies. Either or.
And then take big circles with this right arm.
There's no other options. Only rock climbers or apocalypse zombies. No in between.
Big circles. Playful circles. You were sprinkling glitter with our hands. And then all the way back up to center. And let's take some giant soft shoulder rolls. And then we're going to come over to a tabletop position. Can you really lift up, please? Come on over to a tabletop position. We'll start to move and breathe here in our tabletop. So your hands can be wide, they can be far away. Your toes can be flat or tucked. Just starting to connect with these 4 points of contact on the ground. Your fingertips to your toes, and then also your knees. So actually 6 points of contact. So inhaling forward, exhaling backwards. You're really connecting with your toes to your fingers and taking a real wave in the spine. Inhaling, rolling forward, waving forward. Exhaling, waving backwards from the fingertips to the toes. Finding true spinal movement. Playing and experimenting with what feels good. And if you prefer to take your sways backwards to one side and then the other. Or maybe you prefer little circles and soft movements. Just play and experiment with what feels good. Warming, feeling your body, getting present with your body and its tension. And then land in a child's pose. Take a little pause. And back to a tabletop position. We're going to take right hand out, left leg back. Breathe and balance. And in the theme of playing, we're going to take the right hand down, squeeze that left leg, and see if you can start to balance right side. So left hand up. It's not easy to do it this way. Breathe. Feel the challenge. Lower the left hand. We're going to take this left leg, squeeze it tight so it's really strong. And we're going to open that hip up, open to the side of the mat, and then slowly bringing it down. Opening up and bringing down. Yeah, open to a half moon position and then back down, nice and slow. if this is challenging, you can bend the leg, makes the leg a little less heavy when you're doing it. Bring the left leg, toes down, and press through the heel, opening up the back of the leg. And lift that left leg again, bend the knee. Take the right hand out and balance. And if you like, you can challenge yourself by maybe reaching for that left foot with the right hand. A little half dance or pose. And then lower, let go of the foot, lower the right hand, lower the left leg, and take a little wiggle to reset. And then bring the left hand out, right leg back. Breathe and hold. Lower the left hand and see if you can balance left side this time by bringing the right hand up. Squeeze and balance. And lower the right hand. We're going to take this hip open and close. So we're going to bring it, right hip opens up to the side of the mat and then back down to the front of the mat. Down to the mat. Open to the side and then down. Opening the hips, moving nice and slow. And again, bend the leg if this is hard. Makes the leg less heavy. Squeezing the hips as you do this, not just moving through space. You're squeezing the muscles. And then lower the toes of the right leg. Press through the heels, warm up and open up the back of the leg. And then lift the right leg, bend the knee. Send the left hand back. Maybe you can catch the foot. Open up. Slowly release the foot. Lower the hand, then the leg. And take a little reset. We're going to press up into our first down dog. So using the hands, pressing up out of the ground. Lift your body up out of the ground, lifting your hips high. And connecting with your head below your heart. Start to move in your down dog, opening up the legs, feeling your down dog. We're going to play with our down dog, so taking our feet wide, maybe about mat width apart, feeling a wide down dog. And then inch your feet in, about a foot distance closer to your hands. Maybe experience a little bit different down dog. See how changing the pose just a little bit makes a big change. Breathe and hold. Can you activate the legs a little more? Squeeze the legs like you're pulling yourself up out of the ground. And then bend the right knee, bend the left knee, slowly moving left to right. Squeezing the legs as you move. And then bend both knees, look towards the hands, and we're going to make our way up. This time wide forward fold, so our feet are wide on the mat. Forward folding, maybe grabbing our block and landing on the block. Maybe just hanging out, whatever's good for you. So wide forward fold. Feeling our legs, feeling the backs of our legs. And then see if you can feel the sensation of locking your legs. So press down into your feet and then feel like you're trying to rip the mat apart. So pull your feet away from each other. That should fire up the legs. The whole leg should become active and strong. We're going to move through the hips a little here. So taking our hips a little bit over towards the right leg slowly, and then a little bit over to the left leg. So you should start to feel the inner thigh, the back of the leg, squeezing, 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 slow movement. Squeeze, see if you can squeeze the glutes while you do this. Squeeze the lower core. Start to make this more and more active. And then turn the feet out. So now we're going to turn the feet out. We're still going to feel like we're pushing down into the ground, but pulling up out of the ground. And we're going to start to make this movement a little bigger, really coming over, bending that right knee, and then really coming over and bending the left knee. Squeezing the legs and the hips this whole time. Squeezing, using the muscles. And then slowly bring the feet all the way back to about hip width apart. Take a deep inhale as you rise up. Bring your hands to prayer and bring your hands down to your heart. Take a little wiggle to reset. We're going to move and breathe here. Inhaling up and exhaling down to baby chair. Inhaling up. Exhaling down to baby chair. And then today we're going to play with this movement. I'm going to turn to face. You're going to inhale up, exhale down to chair. Inhale up. Exhale down. And then we're going to come to our balls of our feet. So inhale up, balls of the feet. Exhale this time all the way over to diver's lunge, swinging your arms down slow and controlled. Inhale, lower the heels, come to chair. Pause. Inhale all the way up, reach up tall onto the balls of the feet. Exhale, lower over diver's lunge, nice and slow and controlled. Inhale, lower the chair, heels come to chair. Exhale, inhale up, exhale over. Inhale, chair. Exhale, pause. Inhale up all the way to our toes. Exhale over diver's lunge. Inhale back to chair. Pause for the exhale and pause here. See if you can soften the shoulders and the face a little more. Wiggle the toes. Squeeze the legs a little more. Squeeze the lower core. And from here, see if you can bring the weight onto the right leg and see if you can bring the left leg up to a hover without moving the body too much, without sending that right hip all the way over. Hover your chair. Left leg is flexed. We're going to bring left knee towards right elbow, little twist. So coming over, playing with this movement. We're just going to take little pulses, playing with this movement. Squeeze the core. Squeeze it over and hold. So left knee is coming towards right elbow. Squeeze the core. Breathe and hold. Squeeze the left leg a little more. And then bring that down and pedal it out. Let the feet go. And then reset that same breath. Inhale up, connect our prayer. Exhale, squeeze it down to chair. Inhale up, exhale down. And this time, come on down and pause. Get set up in your chair. Strong in the legs, really squeezing the legs. Every muscle you can possibly find. Loosening the shoulders and the face. Loosen your grip in your toes. Loosen your temple. Then weight onto the left leg. See if you can bring that right leg up without moving too much. So lower core balance, squeezing that lower core. Right leg is really, really, really strong. Breathe. And then left elbow to right knee. Small movement, squeezing the core. Notice if one side is harder than the other. Bring it on up, hold it. Right leg really active and strong. This core is active and strong. Settle it out. Take a deep inhale this time. Swan dive it down, all the way down, touch the ground. Right foot steps back, left foot steps back. High plank, breathe and hold. Find a high plank that you can get really strong in. Challenge yourself. And then send the hips up and back, all the way back to downward dog. Breathing in your downward dog. Inhale, right leg high. Exhale, bend the knee and bring it behind the right wrist. Setting up for your low lunge, grabbing your blocks. Finding a little movement in this low lunge, moving back and forth. Feeling the hips. Feeling the legs, nice slow controlled movement. And then we're going to find a way to lower the left leg and untuck the toes so that this leg is comfortable. So you may need to slide that foot back a little so you're not on the top of the knee. Push the left foot down into the ground, and then feel like you're pulling forward, like you're trying to pull that foot towards you without letting your body move. Your left hip should really fire up in this position. You should be able to even start to lift that knee off the ground. So really holding your blocks to keep yourself stable, pressing into the right leg. This whole right leg is super strong. Pull the left leg towards you. Really feel that left hip. It should be challenging. You might be able to lift your chest up a little higher. Press into the right foot. Pull up out of the ground. Pull up out of that left foot, left hip, challenging pose. Open. Lower the left knee if you lifted it. Placing your left hand down on the block. Take your right hand forward. Reach as far forward as you can. Still pretty active on that left leg. And then take that right arm behind you. Maybe landing it on your hip. Opening up. So you're twisting from the rib cage up, opening to the right side of your mat. If you want to play in this pose, you can play with bending that left leg, and maybe you can even catch the foot. If you caught the foot, slowly release the foot. Don't let it slingshot. Tuck the toes in that left leg. Press into the leg so that you can start to send the hips up. bring this right foot so that the toes are lifted. You're going to start to open up the back of that right leg. Press your heel into the ground and then pull it back towards you without letting it move, firing up that back of the front leg. Breathe. And framing out front foot. You're going to really press into the hands, hollow out the chest. See if you can lift the right knee. And send it slowly back to three-legged dog. Lower the foot and come back to down dog. Find your breath. Inhale, left leg high. Bend the knee. Bring it towards that left wrist. And set up for a low lunge on the other side. Starting to find some movement in your low lunge. Now you're going to come forward on the left leg and slowly lower the right knee down and untuck the toes. Find a comfortable position for that right knee. Let the foot be on the ground and then feel like you're pulling it towards you. Try to pull that right foot towards you. The right hip should fire up when you do that. Press into the left leg. Make this whole left leg and hip strong. Maybe you can bring your blocks back and lift your chest a little more. Breathe. This should be challenging. And pull your right hip towards the left foot. Pull, pull, pull. Slowly lower that right knee if you were able to lift it. And then bending. Oh, sorry. Right arm down. We're going to twist first. Left hand out. And then slowly lifting that left hand towards the side of the mat, maybe lower it. So you're twisting from the rib cage towards this left side of the mat, breathing. Hips are still active, legs are still pressed firmly into the ground. And then maybe you can lift that right leg and catch the foot. See if you can squeeze some more muscles. See if you can squeeze the front of the right hip. Squeeze the outside of the left. Slowly release the foot if you were able to get it. Untwist. Framing out that left foot. Tuck the toes, lift up that right leg. Hollow out the belly, lift the left leg and send it all the way up. Three-legged dog. And then lower to regular down dog. Finding your breath. Bend the knees, look towards the hands, and either take 1,000 tiny steps or take a little soft hop up to your hands. Find a forward fold.
Mine was really bad.
So find a forward fold. And then maybe with a deep bend in your knees, let your head really hang. So your head is hanging completely free of tension. And then take a little soft sway left and right with your head. Just kind of feeling some neck tension, turning your head left and right, shaking it yes and no. And then big bend in the knees. Inhale, come all the way up. Connect your prayer. And then down to your We're going to go into chair. So slowly sinking it down into chair. We're going to see if we can bring the weight into the left leg and lift the right. Again. Squeezing the core, bring the left knee towards the right elbow. Hold. Back to our twist. And then see if you can bend that right knee. And take the right knee past the left. And we're coming over to a twisted warrior version. Nice and slow and controlled. Make that right leg strong. Find your position. This should feel a little different. And then see if you can go back the way you came, bringing that right knee towards the left elbow. Squeeze the core. And then see if you can come all the way to stand. Bring the right knee with the left elbow all the way up. And then bring it down. Pedal it out. Inhale all the way up, arms overhead. Exhale, bring your prayer down to your heart, sit it down to chest. Weight onto the right leg. Bring the left leg forward and take it to your twisted chair again. So bringing that left knee to the right elbow, squeeze the core. And then we're going to see if we can keep the twist in the upper body. Slowly send the left knee past the right. Going to a twisted warrior funky version. Squeeze the core, balance and breathe. Left leg is active. There's a little bend in the right leg. And then slowly bring it back the way we came, bringing that left elbow towards the right knee. And then all the way up to stand. And then let it down, tap it out. All right, we're going to go into breathing in, hands onto prayer, mountain pose. Find your own 2 feet on the ground. We're going to go into dancer pose. So dancer pose is one of those poses that's playful and expressive. So one of the points of this pose is to be expressive, one of those places where we learn about the ego. So starting to bring the weight into the right leg. You stay this way and I'll go this way so they can see. Bring the weight into the right leg. Bring the left heel towards the left glute. Take the left hand, try to get it thumb to toe. So grab that left foot. And have your right hand out for balance. This might be enough. You can push your foot into your hand and feel the quad fire up, or if you want to come to the full expression of the pose, you're going to push that hand into the foot and slowly send the foot up behind you, squeezing the core to balance. Trying to get a little bend in that right leg to keep the energy moving. So you're not locking down. Breathe. Feel the tone. You can bring your hand to a mudra, so first finger and thumb touch. You can fall out. Try to come out of this as slowly as you went in, bringing that knee back towards the right knee. Slowly release the foot, and then pedal it out. And then you go the other way. So weight onto the left leg. Bring the right foot up, thumb to toe. Catch it, catch your breath. Look at something that's not moving. Push your foot into the hand, feel the quad fire up. And then slowly come into dancer. And play. Maybe bring your hands to a mudra. Notice one side was easier to balance on than the other. See, I can't see if you're falling out at home, so go ahead and play with this for as long as you like. You can hit pause and play with it for longer.
Go ahead and laugh at me. Falling out of it.
Try to come out of it as slowly as you went in. Bring that right knee towards the left. Slowly release the foot and tap your feet, tap them out. Take the right foot, tuck it under. Stretch the front of the foot. Take the left foot, tuck it under. Stretch the front of the foot. You're going to take the feet wide. We're going to lock the legs. So pushing down into the feet. We're going to pull them out apart with our feet so the legs are super strong and locked. Bring the torso down. We're going to lift right heel, then left. Slow and with control. Relevate into the feet. Hips are not moving. Squeeze the hips. Start to make this movement a little bigger. The lower you bring your torso, the more the core has to work to keep you stable. And take your feet pointing out, and we're going to come down nice and slow to everybody's favorite pose, Malasana. Take it slow. Play with this pose. Find your way down here to Malasana. Move it slow. This is a playful pose.
It's a torture pose.
This can be a playful pose. So once you get down here, find a place where your feet are comfortable. You can place something underneath your heels. You can also come down to sit on a block and just work on feeling your hips if you're sitting on the block. Taking the pressure out of your ankles. If you bring your arm to the inner thigh, you can push your arm into your thigh into your arm, feeling a little counter pressure and firing up the muscles in the legs, strengthening and opening at the same time. And breathe. And if you ever want to know the easiest way, keep an eye on Cali. She knows it.
I hate Malasana. In fact, I think I might even turn my block.
So breathing and feeling a little opening challenge in Malasana. You can stay here, or if you would like to take this into even more playful, you can start to work towards a crow. So from Malasana, you would bring your knees up as high as you can into your armpits, pressing your hands down into the ground. Just start to bring your hips forward and weight over onto your arms. Just warming up, going slow, feeling weight into your hands, feeling your hands starting to take that load. And then when you're ready, you're going to come forward and hold that load with your toes still on the ground. Squeeze your stomach. So when you take that cat-cow pose, when you take the cat and hollow out your belly, that's what you want. Squeeze your stomach, squeeze your chest into that hollowed out shape, and then start to bring your feet to a hover, your toes to a hover, and breathe. Challenge and play. Slowly coming out of this, returning to Malasana. And taking your seat, opening up the chest. Breathe. And then for Malasana, finding your hands on the ground. Take your feet wide, start to straighten up your legs and take some little wiggles. Getting some movement. You can land on your block here too. Getting some movement back in the legs. Feeling some movement. Anyone feels good. And then we're going to step left foot up, right foot back. Find yourself in high plank and then take your hands really wide. Wide high plank. Squeezing the core, squeezing the legs. Come forward on your high plank and bend the elbows. Only as far as you can feel strong in the chest. Breathe. Feel like you're pulling your pelvis towards your belly button. Squeeze a little stronger. Breathe and challenge. And then lower the knees. Send the hips back and take a child. Surrender into the ground. Slowly come through tabletop and lower all the way to the stomach. Crocodile pose. One hand on top of another, forehead down. And shimmy the hips to let go. We're going to take cross body stretches first. So take your left arm out long from the shoulder. Grab the ground and make it wiggle a little bit further ahead. Then take your right leg, flex, squeeze the right leg and lift the leg high. Then lift the left arm as if you're reaching from the fingertips to the toes on opposite sides. Breathe and hold. Lower that down and take your right hand out. Reach it really long. Left leg up, right arm up. Breathe and hold. And then bring that down. Hand back on top of hand, head down, crocodile, shimmy the hips. Squeeze both legs so tight that they start to lift up off the ground. Squeeze the glutes, squeeze the legs, squeeze and hover, lift the legs a little more, and we're going to take them out and in, nice and slow. And you can stay with this, or if you'd like, you're going to take your arms out wide and lift the shoulders. Same movement with the legs. Squeeze and hold the whole back. Breathing. And start to bring the elbows back. So bring the arms up, hover, and then elbows back. So legs come wide, elbows come back. And then bring it down to crocodile. Shimmy the hips. Loosen. Bend the knees and the heels towards the ceiling. And take a little windshield wiper with the legs. Nice and slow. Letting go. And then bringing the hands, bring the feet down to the ground, bring the hands to Sphinx. So hands come down, forearms down. Press the hands away from you, and then feel like you're pulling the chest through the shoulders. Sphinx pose. Bring one hand on top of another, forehead down, shimmy the hips and let go. And then we're going to take the world's most graceful transition and roll on over to our backs from here. So once you get on your backs, you can take your feet down, knees up, or you can take full corpse. Just landing on your back, trying to get that little natural curve of your lower back. Try not to over flatten your lower back, and then pay a little attention to the neck, trying to feel like your neck has its natural curve and you're not over flattening your neck towards the ground. Chin a little more to the ceiling. Start to loosen the shoulders in. We'll just take a little neck movement. So take the chin all the way over to the right side. Just gonna check in, see where the tension is on the left side of the neck. And roll the head slowly back through center and all the way over to the left side. And then chin back through center. We're going to take the hands up to the ceiling. And imagine that somebody grabbed your hands and pulled your hands even higher. Make your shoulders come up off the ground. And then imagine they suddenly let them go. Let your shoulders plop. So reach up and plop. Reach up and plop. You want little vibrations to happen in the shoulders. Letting go. Getting little vibrations around the shoulders. And relieve some tension. And then bring your hands all the way down towards the hips, about a foot away from the hips. Place the palms down on the ground. Press into the ground and fire up the chest and the arms. Press, 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 press. Take a deep inhale. And with the exhale, suddenly release. Press the backs of the hands down into the ground. Press, 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 press. See if you can fire up some more muscles behind the shoulders. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Take a deep inhale. And with the exhale, suddenly release. See if you can release a little more tension. And then let your chin roll side to side as if your head were a dead weight on the ground. Nice and slow. Letting go of some more tension. And then we're going to come to our final resting pose. And you can keep it restorative like this, with the feet on the ground, knees up. It's going to be a little bit softer on your lower back, especially if you have tight lower back. Or you can take your feet all the way to full Shavasana if that's comfortable for you. If you have props or blankets, feel free to grab them at this point. I'm going to take you through a gentle squeeze and release meditation. So I'm going to allow Kaylee to stay on the ground while I talk through. So bringing your attention to your feet, I want you to squeeze your feet, squeeze your toes really, 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 really tight. Squeeze them tighter, 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 and then let them go suddenly. Squeeze your feet and your legs really, 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 really tight. Squeeze them tighter, 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 tighter. Make them tight as can be, and then release. Squeeze your feet, your legs, your stomach. Make fists with your hands and squeeze your arms, squeeze across the front of your chest. Squeeze it tight, squeeze it tight, squeeze it tight, and then release. Squeeze your feet, your legs, your stomach. Squeeze your neck, squeeze your face. Make a tight, 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 tight face. Tighter, 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 tighter. Squeeze some more. Squeeze around your eyes. Squeeze your face really, really, really tight, and then release suddenly. Release your breath. Surrender control around your shoulders. Let them soften into your back. Surrender control around your hips and let your hips surrender into the ground. Soften the muscles around the face, the temples, the chin, the jaw. Loosen the tongue and the mouth. Imagine softness around the teeth, around the eyes. Imagine softness inside the ears, making more space for sound. And then land in that very center point of the mind again. As if you could gently fall back from your vision and land in the center of your brain. Allowing space for whatever is present here to be present here. Greeting yourself without judgment. Noticing that you can notice your thoughts. And then noticing that you are more than your thoughts. You are the one that is able to notice the thoughts, notice the feelings, notice the physical sensations. You are the one beneath all those layers. And then begin to imagine that you are surrounded in a bubble. And without cognitively understanding, this bubble contains precisely what you need right now. Not asking what that is, just trusting your body's intuition to know what you need. Imagine that you could open yourself up from the crown of your head and plug into this energy source. Just as if you were an iPhone charging yourself. Imagine from the crown of your head, this energy begins to spill down through your brain, down your spinal cord, and throughout your body as if it's touching and recharging each cell of your body, one by one. And I'm going to repeat the reading from the beginning of class. Do not fight your body. Do not carry the world on your shoulders like Atlas. Drop that heavy load of unnecessary baggage, and you will feel better. Do not kill the instinct of the body for glory of pose. Do not look at your body like a stranger, but adopt a friendly approach towards it. Watch it, listen to it, observe its needs and its requests, and even have fun. Play with it, as children do. Sometimes it becomes very alert and swift. To be sensitive is to be alive. Start to bring some movements to the fingers and the toes. Bring the knees in and give yourself a little hug. And curl up in a little ball on whichever side is calling to you. And connecting to your inner child, your inner bliss layer. thinking of some things that no longer serve you that perhaps you can leave on the mat. Especially those words we use, those harsh judgments we use against ourselves. Taking your time, come on up to a seated position. Bring your hands to prayer at heart space. Connecting with this gesture of bringing our left and right sides to meet in front of our hearts, as if accepting ourselves as whole and complete, exactly as we are. May we now love, light, and connection. Thank you so much for sharing space with us.